Disassemble your Gotway Tesla. This is a quick video on how to do it. So first you have these covers on both sides. They have 4 screws in them each. 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Covering these parts is this. You can take a little flathead screwdriver and just pop it off, pry it off. It just pops back on there. So take this off both sides. Oh, before I start, you only need 2 tools, really. You need the flathead screwdriver and a smaller one. Smaller Phillips and a smaller flathead to get to some of the harder reach screws on the sides. You will have screws that connect up to the engine located right here. 6 of them. You have 6 on the front and you have 6 on the back. That's it. Take the shell off. This is the shell that I'm talking about. So you got the front cover and the back cover. You'll take a small flathead screwdriver. You'll pry, starting from the bottom, working your way up. It's easy to pry them off when you first you can pry off down here. Then you can kind of feel where the tab is and just press it up and it'll pop up. Pop up, pop up. You do this all the way till you get to the top. Once you get to the top, they just slide out of each other. And then you have this exposed body. Both sides of the shell are removed. You can now get the screws that hold the body together. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I believe you have 5 screws on the other side. So since I didn't have a long enough flathead screwdriver to do this, you can take a regular flathead, even though these are Phillips screws. You go in, use a little force, and you can untwist them. Then you take out all the screws, you do it for the other side. Next, you have your ring, your O-ring. This also is removed via a small flathead. All you do, slip it in at the bottom, and then everything is pretty much neatly spaced out. You can just kind of follow the divots, and then when you get to here, kind of just press down firmly right here. Press it, and then you can release the O-ring and expose your LED strip. You can take out the battery because you already have this exposed. This is the unit that controls the chimes and the beeps and all that. So that's screwed up right here. Unscrew those, put screws over there somewhere. And then you have a little hidden screw right in here. And if you guys can see it, all I did was unscrew it, but the screw is still in there. So you can unscrew that, loosen that up. And for the most part, the shell is ready to come apart. You don't have to completely break the shell apart to expose the engine, but you can pull it apart wide enough to slide the engine out. One thing I had to do, because these wires are so tight, you have to unscrew 2 of the screws from the circuit board. I didn't have to disconnect any wires. Oh, you also had to pry these up too, because these limit the wires movement. So you got one right here. You can just use a flathead or something and get that open. It's hard to get to this one, so I just pulled the whole thing up. Just use a little glue and put it back. But by that point, you're ready to remove the engine. So it's better if you have 2 people to help you on this part. Pretty much just sit this on the back side, and then you kind of just pry it open and make sure you get these bolts under here. It's kind of tight, especially with the way the cable is and how thick that cable is. You just gotta kind of maneuver it out. But once you do that, you can just have the other person hold the thing open, hold the main body open. Then you can maneuver this out. You need to disconnect any of these wires. Pretty much just unscrew, unstick everything, and then you should be good to go to maneuver this out. And then of course, to reassemble it, you just do the reverse of what you did. You'll end up putting this back in first, and then with this in, you can pretty much go ahead and screw that to the body and make everything more stable. Then you can go ahead and put in the screws on the exterior, and then you can make sure the LED strips fall back into place, and go ahead and put that back on, put the outer shell back on. You'll be good to go. Test it out, put your air in your tire and all that, and you should be good to go. Once you get that shell off, once you get the outside parts of these shells off, go ahead, take off the O-ring. You'll see this at the bottom. Connect it right here, roughly. Let's make it on the other side. But still, you can use a flathead, pop one side off, pop the other side off, and then it pretty much just lifts up. We take that out, and this is the most you need to do to change the tire. You don't need to disconnect any kind of wires. The whole process takes a couple minutes if you know what you're doing. Put the new inner tube back on. If you know how to change a tire, you can look up a video on that. And then